I'm learning all sorts of things while making this Victorian outfit, and because lace is so expensive, I decided to learn how to crochet. Let's see. Hello, it's Icy. Yes, I foolishly have decided to learn how to crochet. Foolishly? I'm not sure. Because lace in Australia, maybe everywhere, is terribly, terribly expensive. I would love to get some cotton lace to decorate cuffs, to make an inset, like Victorian or / Edwardian style shirt waist. I would like to do a bunch of things, but man, it's like $16 for like 2.5 meters of lace that's this wide. And that's like, no, I'm too cheap for that. I am far, far too cheap for that. So I need an alternative. And an alternative that I thought maybe I can do something with is learning to crochet. Now, do I know how to crochet? Well, I didn't up until last week, 2 weeks ago. A friend of mine in the US, hello Cindy, has been teaching me how to crochet via videos. So I have finished this very nice, very fancy red and black striped infinity scarf, and I'm quite pleased with it. So should I just at this point really dive in and see if I can make something that's wildly complicated? Sure, why not? Have you watched this channel before? Yes. So I am going to try and follow a tutorial from a cross-stitch video person, YouTube person. I will leave a link to the video I'm planning to use up here. Their name is Little John. They seem to make really nice, cute, vaguely goth, though not goth in colour, goth in style, different sorts of crochet things. They have a Wednesday Addams collar, which is like, oh, okay. And they had a very nice choker sort of pattern. And I was thinking if I could put together a choker and a collar together, I could wear those over a much plainer shirt, like this one, which has got my puff sleeves, but it's just a standard t-shirt type of neck and t-shirt material. So I could wear it over top of something like this and then take it from being history bounding more modern to history bounding less modern. So on the weekend I went to a fabric store, Spotlight in Australia, and got some wool. Is this the best option? Well, it was the best option for something that looked vaguely goth, because otherwise I would have had to dye stuff, and I think that's a lot of effort for maybe something that's not going to work out. So I got 4-ply baby wool in this lovely, rather fetching dove grey, which, if this thing works out, should pop very nicely against anything black that I'm wearing. The scarf is made out of 8-ply acrylic and is very warm, honestly. So I don't think that would work. So now this is really soft. I've done a couple of test loops, chains with it, and I think it'll work, but we'll see. I don't know how that will happen. Now, when I started this project, did I have any sort of crocheting kind of accoutrements? No, I did not. I had to buy stuff. So what I did was I bought a pack, because off Amazon actually, because the packs at Spotlight are not this good and are just as expensive. So I got a little $20 pack of a whole bunch of sizes. These are the super fine sizes that you would use for making like little lace doilies. Are we going to get there one day? I mean, maybe. Goth lace doilies? I mean, very possibly one day. But for the moment, I've been the scarf was worked with the 6.5 millimeter hook, and now I'm going down to 3.5. So, for my second project ever. So, we're going to see how this goes. Is this going to work? I don't know. If it works, you'll see this video. If it doesn't work, I don't know. But anyway, join me on this journey, and let's see what happens. I made a thing using a skill I didn't have before, and I am quite pleased. It's pretty good. It looks lovely. Color's great. Crocheting with this 4-ply baby wool was okay. It was a bit like not like really well twisted, but that was okay. I kind of taught myself how to do a thing. The video that I used, do check the link as well, was good. It was very helpful. I will try some other videos from that particular maker to see if I can make some other collars and things, which I think should work quite well. It's giving more, probably less Victorian vibes, more Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. The thing is though, I mean, I originally made this to be a choker, to go kind of like as an up collar, and it doesn't work for me like that. And I don't know if it's the baby wool, it's too soft. I think that's probably a big part of it. But also I added like an extra chunk. I added this much because I thought, oh no, I'm going to need it to be bigger because I want it to sit as a collar further down. That's too much. I should have just made it the length that was specified in the pattern. Nonetheless, I still think I was very tricky to be able to work out the numbers and things and the counting and the stuff to make it longer. So yay me. It's not technically, it's not actually finished. I haven't, and there's no way to fasten it yet because I haven't quite worked out what it's going on or what shirt I'm wearing it with, etc. So, so I didn't want to actually like put a closure on it until I worked out. I think I kind of like it there actually. That's quite good. We could go with that. Maybe a button actually. I'm thinking a little button and then using one of the little holes as a button loop is probably my best option actually. Should you try making this? Yes, I think you should. This was I think of it like my first introduction to anything more than just doing a single crochet and a double crochet. I'm using the American terms, by the way, just in case. And I was able to follow those and string them together to make this. My one real problem with this project, which has honestly taken a whole lot longer than you think this should, really so much longer. Two problems actually. One is I would follow along the instructions and then I would go, all right, I got it now. And then I would finish the rest of the row, only to watch it back and go, oh no. And I use stronger words than no. And then realize I'd not followed the instructions. I'd like skipped ahead or something. And, you know, it was meant to be like an extra set of sort of steps in there to give the proper effect. And then I'd have to pull the whole row. And then the second, and that happened not just once, shall we say, not just once, not just twice even. But then the other part of the problem is because to do this, I absolutely had to pay attention only to this because it's such a new skill, and because there's so much counting going on, and so much like working out where I am. It's not something that I could, we use the phrase multitask, it's not really like split attention. So for example, I can sew and watch YouTube videos, and that's what I do, because otherwise sewing long straight lines I find very boring and I get very distracted. So that works for me. This is not, I couldn't do that. And so I had to really allocate chunks of time only to this and not to anything else, and nothing I could get distracted with as well. And so I found that quite hard. I would say that this is the equivalent amount of attention required as actually sitting down and reading a book for a small chunk of time, because you actually have to concentrate. Essentially, I kind of had to be able to do the whole row. And the rows are not very long, but nonetheless, because I'm very slow, because I'm starting out, that's still like a good 15 minutes of uninterrupted time that I needed to allocate. And those 15 minutes of uninterrupted time and uninterruptible time, perhaps, is the other thing, because the sewing is all fine. If I need to stop and do something, that's fine. I can come back to it. This was like, no, I need a whole chunk that I have to sit here. And that turned out to be very hard to allocate. I had kind of realized that my days were divided into extremely tiny chunks, but this really brought it home. In the fact that I have not read like a physical book. I got two, one for my birthday in November, and it's now March, and one before that, and I still have read maybe a quarter of it, where a digital book, like on a phone, I can squeeze those 5 minutes in anywhere, and so I actually get through books on phones. So I have learned something quite interesting. So what am I going to do with this? I'm not sure yet. I actually don't mind it at this length as well. So perhaps I will add something extra. There is actually another collar as well that I really want to try. also linked here, a Wednesday Addams collar, and the original idea was to actually link the two together. So this would be like an upper part of the collar, and then the lacier section would attach underneath. Whether that works out or not, I don't know. I'm not stopping with crocheting. Certainly just, I'm fine, like single, nothing fancy, like just straight rows. That's fine. That is actually something I can now do and do while I'm doing other things as well. So, you know, like if I'm at the computer and I'm watching a YouTube video, I can actually do straight crocheting. So crocheting is still within my repertoire, but yes, I will have a go at doing something else fancy and then we see how we go. So, but yeah, I think this worked out okay. It's certainly adding just a little bit of interesting contrast with all of the black that I always wear. But tell me, have you picked up a new skill recently, or have you picked up an old school skill you haven't done for a while? Let me know in the comments. If you're interested in trying crocheting, let me know as well, because I mean, I can link the videos that I used, and you can tell me whether you've also found them helpful. Actually, the one other tip I would say is you want to watch those videos at half speed. Anything less than half speed I couldn't follow, but half speed was just fast enough that the voices don't seem completely weird and just slow enough that I could actually follow along. So watching these sorts of things on either YouTube or a player that allows you to control the speed, very helpful. But thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Sindley, for all of your help, by the way. And I will talk to you next time. Bye.